What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Resistor podcast, episode 2. I'm your host, Christopher Jones, and today I wanted to follow up a little bit on episode 1 where we were talking about inflation. There's still a lot of stuff that I feel like we didn't really cover, and I'm going to try and talk to y'all a little more organically this time, less like I'm reading, trying to be a horrible professor here. So I know the main concerns of everybody with inflation is, cost of gas, cost of food, cost of housing, like cost of automobiles, parts, maintenance, stuff like that. Let's see if we can help straighten some of this out today, right? Because I hear all the time, oh, it's the damn Democrats, it's the left, it's Joe Biden, it's damn Obama, and, Hillary or whoever the hell, it's anybody but the people on the right. And I'm not even saying it's completely the people on the right. I'm not saying that at all. There are definitely Democrats that don't help with this shit because they're, about big business. But typically, when you look at like which political party backs big business and billionaires and conglomerates and all this shit more, it's almost always the right. It's like the whole damn right and part of the left. And it's something that they keep getting away with because a lot of Americans just don't understand how in the hell this shit works, gas prices. Oh, it's because Biden shut down the pipeline first off, the Keystone XL, it's the XL stands for Export Limited, right? And that was actually starting in Canada, and it was to bring oil down here to refine it. But here's the thing about that, guys. Most of that oil was tar sands oil, so it wasn't even going to be used for your car. We don't use tar sands oil that's not the shit that we use in our cars. That's not the shit that, gets turned into gasoline that you get at the pump. That's stuff that's typically used for lubricating machinery. And what we were going to do with all that oil is sell it overseas to like China for them to use in their factories, right? That was never intended for our gas. That's first. Secondly, it was never completed. That was to be the fourth leg of that project, and it was never completed. So it would be different if it was completed and it was open and we were using it and it was bringing us gas for our cars. And then all of a sudden we just decided to shut it down, and that would pull back on the supply a little bit. And again, with basic supply and demand, I'm going to keep going through this, guys, until it just hammers into your brain. And if you disagree with me or if you think I'm wrong, please, by all means, go look this shit up. Go look it up, come back, argue with me. Like, I would not only welcome that, I would fucking love it, right? Sorry. But yeah, they didn't shorten the supply of oil we had. We were never using that. So that didn't affect prices at all for our gasoline. And I see a lot of arguments about electric cars and this and that. And dude, I am by no means an Elon Musk fan. He's just like Donald Trump in that they inherited a bunch of fucking wealth, and then everybody acts like they're brilliant for, having money. Get the fuck out of here. Like, I say this all the time, but if Donald Trump's dad had operated a hot dog stand in New York, you would have never fucking heard of him. He didn't make anything for himself. Neither did Elon Musk. They took a bunch of money and same shit with Jeff Bezos. Every one of these guys, they had a bunch of money, and their families had a bunch of money. They, hey, I need a little bit of money. I want to start. I need a loan, and I want to start a business. And they've, had plenty of opportunities the rest of us didn't have. Like right here, this new hustle for me, this is all me, man. The LLC money came out of my pocket. My parents didn't front me shit. My trademark, that's me. Like these guys. And if I build something out of this, good, but it still doesn't mean that I'm a genius, Now, being a genius is what makes you a genius. And when you listen to these guys talk, Elon Musk is definitely smarter than Donald Trump, but that guy's anti-union too, so fuck him as well. Because here's one thing about me, guys. I will always be on the side of the worker. I will always be supporting the blue-collar working class. And that doesn't mean that I hate the white-collar class either, but I'm not going to sit here and shit talk the people that make this country run. I'm not going to sit here and tell them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps while we keep bailing out banks and whatnot. And yeah, actually, let's kind of go off on that tangent for a second, real quick. That's something that drives me insane. When everybody talks all of this shit about socialism and communism, they don't understand what either one of them are. First off, that's the funny part to me. Like, if you want to have a critique of it, there's plenty of things you can critique about socialism, communism, capitalism, authoritarianism, any ism. You could pick it apart. There's a million things you could go off about, and you wouldn't be wrong on a lot of them. But to sit here and say America's capitalist and da 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 da, the fuck it is. All right, let's be honest for a second. America it's socialism for the rich and rugged individualism for the poor. You've probably heard that before. I want to say it again. It's socialism for the rich, rugged individualism for the poor. What that means is when the big four auto manufacturers in this country started having problems, what happened? We bailed them out. When the banks had problems, we bailed them out. Housing bubble collapses or pops, bail them out. Pharmaceutical companies, we bail them out. We throw all this money into this shit. Even the oil companies, dude, we subsidize these guys. They're the richest citizens in this country, but they get our tax dollars. And then, sorry, we don't have enough left over for healthcare. Why the fuck not? You know, our money goes to figuring out how to make flat screens and all the technologies, your smartwatches, GPS, satellites, phones, all this stuff. We fund that with our tax dollars for these companies. We basically pay for their research and development. And then whenever they come out with these products, do we get a discount on that since it was our money that basically got the job done? No, hell no. They mark it up. They mark it way the hell up. And they're like, thanks. And then on top of that, we pay them more. Same thing with oil companies. We subsidize the oil companies. And so here's my question to you. If you really, I don't have it pulled up in front of me right now, but we can do that. I can pull up and tell you exactly how much the U.S. taxpayer pays to these oil companies, right? Because they have to do research on ways to make oil and all that shit more efficient. But let me ask you, what if we were putting half of that money? Because really what's changed in oil and gas combustion vehicles and gas combustion vehicles over the last, 50 years? How much has really changed? Like, not a whole hell of a lot, especially not for how much money we've been putting in. If you looked at it like we were the employers and they were our employees and we had paid them all this money over all these years and these were the only results we got, you would fire them. You would fire them and close down that whole damn department. You would. Or you'd go out of business because you'd be a shitty businessman. We keep paying for all this, but what if we took half of that money and we put it towards developing better batteries that hold a charge for longer? What if we put it towards solar panels to where we run them the same amount of time, but we see if we can extract more energy from the sunlight that it collects? What if we put it towards making wind turbines more efficient, or hydroelectric plants more efficient, or nuclear power plants more efficient or safer? What if we invested that money and diversified how we're spending our energy money in this country? Like, think about how much more every one of those fields would be advanced, and think about how much cheaper that would make things for us as consumers, because now you would have more competition, more people producing the same type of electricity but from different ways, and that competition is what drives prices down. So while we're on that, let's pivot a little bit. Right, let's pivot to groceries. That's a huge concern for Americans right now. Right, why is the price of groceries going up? I can give you a few reasons. Aside from this, last Tuesday, the senior director for pricing, Andy Groff from Kroger, was testifying to the Federal Trade Commission. We have antitrust laws to keep businesses from becoming too big and too powerful, right? And we have price gouging laws. And this dude basically just admitted that they were price gouging. Like, yeah, the cost of these products, like eggs and milk and these agricultural products, did go up. But not like what, eggs went up, the price of eggs went up 19.1%, I believe it was. And it didn't go up that much. Why did their price to us go up that much? And it's price gouging. Like, he basically admitted it. Well, he didn't basically, he did admit it. And of course they say, oh, there's other reasons like credit card processing fees and all that. But when you look at your cart full of groceries and it's $400 or $500, how much did that processing fee really go up? What, maybe $1? If somebody said, hey, you pay an extra $1 for the credit card fee and your groceries remain the same price, do you think anybody would have argued with that? I mean, maybe a couple people, but they're a lot more heated about it now than they would have been had that been the case. So yeah, I'm not buying that shit. Also though, why did our agricultural prices go up? And what was the conflict there? Well, this is a multi-pronged thing. So I'm about to unpack a whole lot of shit on you guys. And if you think I'm wrong, please go look this up. I encourage you to, right? And this is about to get into all sorts of shit because it's all connected, guys. And that's the thing. All of these topics, it's not just a single black and white issue. And that's why so many people don't know about this stuff, because it does get confusing. And there's a lot of stuff that's tied to and connected to other stuff. And that's the thing. You got to start thinking like globally. You got to start locally. That's first. But as you get a grasp on those concepts, then think like statewide, then think nationally, then think internationally, right? But let's start with immigration. You're going to sit here and talk a bunch of shit about immigrants and, you know, get ICE all riled up and have them out there trying to find people and deport them and whatnot. And what do you think happens with that? Who did you think was picking your fruit and your vegetables? And when you start deporting those people and you don't have another group of people to replace them, like, what do you think is going to happen with all those fruits and vegetables that would have got picked but suddenly aren't? They start rotting in the damn field. And then what happens there? But it wasn't just that. I mean, that's only a small percentage of it, right? We can go off on immigration. That'll be a whole other podcast because I've got plenty of shit to say about that. But you're affecting the market now. And it wasn't just that, but let's go back to Trump again, because a lot of these problems, I'm trying to point out to you guys where it's not smart to just keep blaming Democrats for shit and then not even having an explanation of why you blame them for it, or a very limited understanding of why you're blaming them for it. And if they're wrong, then yes, I'll call them out when they're wrong too. But what I keep hearing is just completely incorrect, right? Something you need to understand is that maybe y'all all remember when Trump decided that, you know, he said that Chinese steel, man, the Chinese are screwing us, you know, and we've got to really be more forceful with them and, you know, make some good deals for America. Okay, I don't disagree with that. I never did disagree with that. There are certain things that we could definitely stand to do better business-wise, but I don't think that Donald Trump's the guy to do that. And he's shown us time and time again that he's not. And let me give you an example. So he decides he's going to slap tariffs on Chinese steel. Okay, do we understand how tariffs work? Because tariffs, it's not China that's going to end up paying those extra price hikes. It's us, the American consumer. When we end up bringing that Chinese steel in, China's like, we still want the same amount of money for that shipment that we sent you. And we're like, yeah, but there's tariffs on it now. And they're like, cool, so pay them. Like, and that's basically what happened. And then you have a lot of American manufacturers, since we weren't manufacturing the steel that was coming in, like, you know, we still need steel. And a lot of the people, the companies that were using those, since we didn't have as many foundries and factories producing this stuff, a lot of our companies like Harley Davidson, which had been built in America since the 1800s, y'all. Since the 1800s, Harley Davidson's one of the most American companies. Well, it was. Now they're in China and Thailand because they're like, hey, dude, we can't make a decent profit building these motorcycles here by the time we're done paying those tariffs and those price increases. Like, it's honestly just cheaper for us to build factories in China and Thailand, and then we don't have to pay to have the steel shipped over here. We can just pay to ship the whole damn motorcycle over here, and it's cheaper because the labor over there is cheaper to manufacture these things. It's not a complicated concept. But see, here's it doesn't stop there. China looks at us and goes, oh, you want to be dicks about it, huh? That's cool. Well, yeah, you want to slap a tariff on us and make it more complicated for us to sell our steel to America? Cool. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop importing as much agricultural products from you guys. And in case you didn't know, China was the largest importer of American agriculture in the world. So that further affected our farming, right? Now, these people aren't buying any of the shit that they were buying from us before. So our farmers are sitting there like, dude, well, if they're not buying it, then I'm not getting paid. If I'm not getting paid, how do I pay my guys? I can't afford to hire. And now they got rid of my cheaper labor, so I have to hire American citizens to do this shit. And dude, nobody wants to work, and I can't afford to pay them what they want to do this job, which first off, nobody wants to do the damn job. It's a hard ass job. Like, oh, well, hell, what do we do now? So again, the food is rotting in the fields, y'all. Just rotting. It's just sitting there, going to shit. So what ended up happening? Well, we had to subsidize American farmers. I believe it's to the tune of about $23 billion. So what does that mean? Okay, maybe y'all aren't familiar with subsidies and like how subsidizing works. It's basically they're taking our tax dollars and paying these American companies for it, right? So we had to take American tax dollars and pay our farmers, because if our farmers don't make any money, then their farms close down and they can't farm anymore. But we eat that food too, so we can't let them close down. So I kind of understand that. I get it, why we would need to keep these guys open, but maybe stop making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And again, it's like that meme of the guy riding the bike, sticks a stick in his spokes, falls on the ground, and then he's sitting there rubbing his leg, blaming everybody else. You did that. Your policies did that. Don't blame the fucking Democrats. Don't blame the left. Don't blame Antifa. Like, your horrible understanding of how businesses work and how our government works, that's what caused this shit. So every time I hear somebody tell me about what a genius, brilliant businessman he is, I can't help but just damn near laugh myself into a heart attack. It's the dumbest shit ever. But okay, let's keep moving. So what about housing, right? Oh, well, that also explained why our cars are so expensive and everything, because the steel was. And now where are we getting the steel from? We have to source it from someplace more, where it's costing us more. And again, it'd be different if we had a bunch of American like foundries and factories up and running producing U.S. steel, and like Donald Trump said he was going to do, bring back business, have us start manufacturing more stuff here. But what did he do to make that happen? Under Donald Trump, we actually had a lot more factories close in America than we had open. And that's another fact. You can look it up if you disagree with me. You think I'm wrong? I'm just hating on your boy. I'm definitely hating on your boy, but there's a reason. It's because he sucks at everything he does. And he lies to everybody. And then they just believe it because who's got time to look this shit up? Then, all right. I get it that, you know, a lot of people are busy, but a lot of times you're not fucking busy. You're just sitting there watching TikTok reels. And again, dude, I tell my kids this shit all the time. You've got a supercomputer in your pocket. You're probably, if you're hearing my voice right now, you're watching me on it. You have every book in every library ever in your phone. You have access to all of that information. You have every newspaper clipping, every video that's ever been recorded. Like, you can get a hold of anything on your phone. But if you're only using it to look at cat memes and watch porn and TikTok reels and shit, then dude, you kind of deserve what you're getting, because you're being lazy and stupid. And yeah, I called it out, and I'm gonna upset some people. Honestly, that's my goal. I hope I upset the shit out of all of you, and I make you so mad that you go look it up so you can come back and argue with me. And hopefully in the process, we fix this country a bit. And we stop pandering to the 1% and giving them whatever the hell they want. Y'all are killing me with this shit. You want to know why houses are so damn expensive? Because we allow banks to buy up whole entire subdivisions. And again, dude, when you have a limited market or a limited supply of something and a high demand for it, and you have one person controlling that supply, or even only a small handful of people controlling that supply, they're going to raise the prices because they can make higher profits. And to them, that's just good business. And if they can get you to sign a loan at a higher interest rate, which means that you're going to be paying, you know, what, on a $200,000 house, you'll end up paying close to $1 million by the time you're done paying it off, then why in the hell would they not do it? Especially if you're going to sign it. That's one of the most shady yet smartest things I ever heard from a guy that I used to work for. And he owned bars, and I asked him one time, he sold a location that I never thought he would have sold. And I said, why in the hell did you do that? And I thought I was smart. I was like, oh, you're hoping that they take it over and they fail, right? And then you can buy it back for like a third of what you sold it to them for. And he just looked at me and he was like, why would I do that? when I could have easily written into the contract that if they fail in their business or they don't hit a certain points financially, then the bar just automatically reverts back to me and for no payment. And I was like, what the hell, man? You can do that? And he was like, if they sign it, I can. And I was like, holy shit. And that's the thing. How many times have you guys read the service agreement for anything? When Call of Duty updates, or when your phone sends you another one, or Facebook sends you a new like long ass list of stuff that they're changing their policies and their agreements and this and that. How many of you actually read that shit? Nobody. Even most of the attorneys I know don't even read that shit. They're just like, and where does that get you? Like, look at this, the family at Disneyland where the guy's wife was like severely allergic to shit, and they warned the kitchen staff multiple times, hey, she can't eat this stuff or be around nuts or certain shellfish or all this stuff. And then she ended up coming in contact with it, died like a couple hours later, and the guy can't even sue Disneyland for it, or Disney World, or whichever. He can't sue Disney for it because whenever he signed up for his Disney Plus package for streaming and shit, he signed away his rights. Because nobody reads this shit. But that's how they get us. That's how they keep getting us. It's in the fine print and nobody's reading the fine print. Right? The housing market, if all the banks own all the houses, I mean, what are you gonna do? Live in the woods? No, because they got laws against that too. Like, guys, we gotta really start stepping our shit up. Oh, and back to the grocery thing. Also, I damn near forgot about this. I keep hearing everybody talking shit about, well, Russia ain't so bad, and you know, Ukraine's the evil, and we need to stop sending them money and this and that. And like, man, just stay the hell out of foreign policy if you don't understand what's going on. Another way that Trump's Chinese steel tariff backfired on us is when China stopped ordering or buying our agricultural products, our exports. Do you think they stopped eating? They didn't stop eating. Come on. They just got their food from somewhere else. Well, do you want to know where they got it from? They turned around and ordered the majority of their food at that point from Russia. Well, that's weird. Your little tariff on Chinese steel just caused two of our biggest global threats, which alone, you know, not really a threat to us, but together, China and Russia, you just pushed them closer together. And now Russia's making all those billions of dollars that we should have been making from those exports. And then on top of that, we're still having to pay billions of dollars to our farmers just to keep them around. How in the hell was that good business? Anybody, please jump in the comments and explain to me. Yeah, call me a commie, call me a socialist, whatever. This has nothing to do with any kind of communism or socialism. This is just a straight up question. How is that good business? How is that good for our global security? How is any of that good? And the funny thing about Ukraine, it's known as the breadbasket of Europe because they produce a lot of the food over there. So if you let Putin take over Ukraine, they also produce a lot of minerals that we use in batteries for phones, microchips, computers. They're very mineral rich and they grow a lot of food. And again, that's closer to our military bases. So yeah, letting Putin just run all over Europe and reclaim parts of the former USSR, not good policy for us, y'all. And again, in case you didn't realize it, like, we're not sending them bags full of money with big dollar signs on it, like, you know, like cartoonishly. We're sending them mostly weapons. And when we send our old weapons stockpiles, we replenish those stockpiles. So that's American jobs. People make more weapons to replenish our stockpiles. Like, so this benefits us in multiple ways. But also, like, you know, Trump came in and started immediately shitting on NATO. NATO is our allies, guys. Those are our allies. So like, if China and Russia did decide to team up together and come try and put a foot on our neck, we're going to be looking to Europe to also help us out with this shit. And when you've been sitting there turning your back on your allies, do you expect them to come to your aid when it's necessary? I wouldn't hold my breath, you know? There's a lot of strategy involved in this shit. And again, like, dude, if you don't understand that, that's fine. Nobody's telling you that you have to, but probably stay the fuck out of the way. You know, sit on the sidelines and read a book, learn some shit before you try to come back and engage in this. I don't know if you guys also saw this, but recently a company based in Tennessee is a media company was found to have been basically Russia, and Russia was paying through this media company in Tennessee. They're paying guys like Tim Pool. There's a whole bunch of guys that all of a sudden, this whole time I'm talking about Ukraine's a threat. Ukraine's a big threat to America, and we should apologize to Putin and shit. And it's like, you sit here and say that there was no Russian collusion, and this and that, and I'm like, dude, it's just been proven again. And honestly, if you go back and read the Mueller reports, it never said that there was no collusion. I don't know where in the hell y'all got that from. It never said that there was no collusion. Russia was definitely interfering with our elections. They're definitely spreading misinformation. They're definitely all over social media with bots and this and that. And like, y'all just sitting here like, очень ничего страшного, is no problem, да, comrade, it's okay, хорошо. Like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with y'all, man? Y'all need to start waking the hell up. Why do I read I don't know, conservative economists? Why do I read why do I start trying to learn Russian? Why do I pay attention to what happens over there? Because you should know your enemy, y'all. You should know your enemy. Like, why do I know that if you go on white power websites and shit, dude, and see who they're endorsing for president, it's Trump? Because you should know your enemy. Like, if you don't like racism, see what the fuck the racists are doing. If you think that, the billionaire class is screwing the workers, like, lean into that shit. See what the hell they're up to. Go find out what mergers they're making happen and why are mergers bad. These huge conglomerates, like, buy these companies up and put them together. Because normally, okay, if HEB and, let's see, what else? HEB is a grocery store down here. Like, Food Lion or Safeway or something like that. We used to have Albertsons, we used to have Kroger's, we used to have a lot of stuff down here. Now, not so much. And I like HEB. HEB is a great company. They pay their employees really well. I'm not trying to shit talk them. But, before we only had HEB and Walmart selling groceries down here, there were other companies. And that kept prices low because they're constantly competing with each other. And when you let these big companies merge together, they're getting rid of the competition. And that means that they can set the prices to whatever the hell they want. It's the same thing with Amazon. Like, it's why I don't like Amazon and Walmart. Will I shop there? Dude, if I don't really have an option and it's convenient, I'm just trying to pick something up. Yes, I'm just as guilty as everybody else. And just sitting here bitching about this stuff and making videos, not super helpful. You really want to vote with your dollar. If you don't like a company, don't buy their fucking products or try to spend as little as possible with them. And that's what really hurts them. And that's what's going to get their attention. And that's what's going to make them start doing things more responsibly and better for their workers and better for society in general. Is start hitting them where it hurts. Hit them in their pocketbook. And I don't know, it's just some things to think about, guys. Thanks for letting me rant, and I hope you learned something. If you didn't learn something, then I hope you go look something up, and then I hope you learn something. Again, guys, I really want to encourage y'all to challenge me. I mean, I'll tell you that I posted one video, and within like a day and a half, I've got over 100 views very organically. I'm not paying to promote this or anything. And so I appreciate my followers. I got, 16 subscribers last I checked. It's probably up since then. So I guess this is working. Some people really do want to hear what the hell I have to say, and I appreciate the hell out of you guys. I love you for it. But yeah, I saw somebody on YouTube came and created a YouTube profile just to talk shit to me and call me a Marxist, when I don't really recall saying anything very Marxist in that first video. But that's good, because it means that I'm threatening the way that people think, and that scares them. And that's good. You should be scared. Well, you shouldn't be scared, but you should feel challenged, and you should want to go look things up and have a better understanding of the world that you live in. And if I can play any kind of role in making that happen, then I'm gonna do that. So until next time, y'all, I love you, and let's talk that shit, man. Keep resisting. Hey, I wanted to thank you guys for tuning into the Resistor podcast, and just want to remind you that if you like what I'm doing and you want to support my channel, please feel free to jump over to resistorstreetwear.com and buy something. That's how I fund my channel. So, because yeah, we're not really getting a whole ton of views just yet, but I'd like to keep doing this, and I I'd like to keep showing you guys love, so please show me some back. All right, appreciate it. Thanks.